This is the Puma Mag Max, and it's got a double tall dose of nitro foam. Will it be the max cushion cruiser that the name implies? Or will this just be another big shoe that ends up being a bit too firm? It's time to lace up the Mag Max and take it for a run. Yo, what's going on? My name is Kofuzi and I'm a non-elite runner who reviews running shoes here on YouTube. And today I want to talk to you guys all about the Puma Mag Max. But before I give you my thoughts on this shoe, I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that Puma sent to me for the purpose of review, so I didn't have to pay for these shoes. However, nobody's paying me to make this video or to include their shoe in this video, and no one's gonna get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Puma Mag Max, and let's start with the specs. This is a very tall shoe starting out at 46 millimeters of stack height in the heel and dropping down to 38 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot, giving us an 8 millimeter drop. And the only thing, as far as I know from this shoe, is that there is nitro foam in this shoe. Now, a lot of times when I think about nitro foams, I think of it as being lightweight and fast, but I don't always think of it as being soft. And so seeing this much stack height of nitro foam initially gave me a lot of concerns, but stay tuned for the what's it like section of the video where I could talk about what it's like to actually run in the shoe. Now, protecting all this stack height is Puma grip. It's a nice thick layer of rubber on the outsole. Puma is tending for this shoe to give you 500 miles or more of durability, so they're going to need a lot of rubber to protect the midsole foam, and that midsole foam has to be a highly durable material, which nitro foam historically have been. Moving to the upper, we have an engineered mesh which is supported by power tape. There is a very comfortable knit tongue, which I'm very much enjoying, and a minimal amount of padding, relatively speaking, for a shoe of this size and of this type. There is a little bit of rigidity built into the back of this heel cup, and the foam definitely kind of scoops up around the back of the heel and on the sides of your ankle to give you a little bit of support. And further aiding in that support is the very wide footprint, so that way your foot doesn't move around too much whenever it hits the ground. Now, in terms of fit, I do want to mention something specifically. Puma normally sends me my usual running shoe size. That's a US men's 9. In this shoe, they sent me a 9.5. I don't know if that's just the tester sizes they had remaining, because sometimes I get kind of whatever the brands have left to send out to testers, or if they thought that this was something that needed me to size up. I will say that the 9.5, which is a half size up from what I normally wear, was really comfortable. And for most of my testing of the shoe, I kind of forgot that I was a half size up. So I would say if you're the type that sometimes sizes up, size up on this one. Now, Puma says that this shoe comes in at a stated weight of 290 grams, but that would be for the US men's size 9. The size 9.5 that I had came in a little bit heavier at 302 grams and 10.6 ounces. Now that we've talked about what this shoe is like on paper, let's talk about what it's like on foot. I'm absolutely loving the Puma Mag Max, and I feel like it sets the new standard for what max cushion shoes should be like in 2024. For a long time, we've been getting a lot of bigger, taller max cushion shoes, but they haven't been getting commensurately soft and cushioned. The Puma Mag Max proves that you can do both of those things: get bigger, get taller, get more cushion, and get a more comfortable experience using new techniques and new foams. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that sometimes nitro foam gets to be a little bit on the firm side. I don't think that softness is nitro's forte, but I'm not sure how they've tweaked the formula of this nitro foam, or if just adding more nitro foam like this makes it feel softer underfoot, but they're doing a fantastic job of balancing cushioning cushioning and bounce in this shoe. In other words, it is a big soft shoe, but it's not mushy underfoot, which is something we get a lot of times in these max cushion shoes. And I usually take that as an acceptable trade-off for a shoe that I just want to be in for a long period of time, or just want to take for a really comfy, relaxed recovery run. But this lets me have kind of the best of both worlds, where it has that daily trainer feel while still having that extra level of comfort and cushion. Now, I do think that you could even pick up the pace and do a couple of short bursts of speed in this, like if you had some strides at the end of an easy run. But I think that even with the foam that's in this shoe, the size and the weight of the shoe would make it a little bit cumbersome for anything longer than just a couple of strides. Like, I wouldn't want to take it out for a workout. But if you've got a long, slow distance run, or just a regular everyday run, or a recovery run, this shoe is going to be really fun and comfortable for you to put your foot into. I started testing this shoe out before I ran the Berlin Marathon, and I loved it for just regular easy run days. And then I also tested it after I came back from Berlin and used it for a recovery run, and it was just the thing that my feet needed. Now, before we wrap up this video, let's take a step back and look at where the Mag Max might fit within a broader Puma lineup. Now, whenever I take a look at a running shoe brand, I always like to start with the daily trainer, and from Puma, that's going to be the Velocity Nitro 3. It also has nitro foam in here, but it's a little bit lower to the ground, so you could use it for a wider variety of paces and kinds of runs. It's also built for high levels of durability, and that's going to be kind of the anchor and center point of a Puma lineup. Now, when it comes to racing, there's two different options that Puma has available depending on your preferences. And the one that I'm going to talk about today is the DV8 Nitro Elite 3. It's one of the lightest, most nimble racing shoes on the market. It's got an updated version of Nitro Elite foam, which is an even more premium type of racing foam, and it's got a carbon fiber plate that's going to go right here. You might also, in the alternative, use the Puma Fast R2, which is a shoe that I particularly like, but it's going to be an either or situation. You're either going to use the Fast R2 or you're going to use the DV8 Nitro Elite 3. And then kind of in between these two shoes, when it comes to like some faster workouts that maybe you don't need to reach for the race day shoe, but you want something a little bit faster than your daily training option, there is the DV8 Nitro 3. Not to be confused with the Nitro Elite 3, just the Nitro non-elite 3. It's got a little bit of daily trainer DNA and a little bit of race DNA in it, and it's a really fun shoe for logging in a lot of workouts. And where the Mag Max fits in is on the other side of the speed spectrum, when you just want to get out there and log some time on feet and just take care of yourself a little bit more, have a little bit of extra cushion, and the paces can slip a little bit because it's that kind of run. That's where the Mag Max fits in really well, and it's a nice comfy way to round out this Puma lineup. Now let's wrap up this video by talking about the buying guide and also some alternatives that I think you should consider. The Puma Mag Max is a refreshing update on the max cushion genre, and it's one of the best examples I've tested in a very long time. This is the first year of the shoe, so there isn't a prior year's version that you might be able to save some money at. So $180 is what you're going to be looking to spend in order to get in these shoes. And I always feel like $180 for a max cushion shoe kind of feels like a lot, but let's take a look at some of the competition to see where that price stacks up. The first shoe that I think stacks up really well against the Puma Mag Max is a shoe that I haven't reviewed yet, so hit the subscribe button if you want to see this review, but it comes from Brooks, and it's the Glycerin Max. And I think there's a lot of similarities between these two shoes that make them line up really well and are both going to be the contenders for max cushion shoe of 2024. Both of these shoes have a nitro foam in them, and both of them are exceptionally soft while also being surprisingly nimble. And if you haven't liked previous Brooks Glycerins, don't worry, I haven't been a fan of the previous Glycerins either, but this Glycerin Max is excellent. You are going to pay a price for that excellence though, because that shoe comes in at $200. And then the other shoe that I want to talk about comes in a little bit underneath what the Puma Mag Max comes in at, and that's going to be from Asics. This is the Glideride Max, coming in at $170, so $10 cheaper than the Mag Max. I feel like this is also a really great example of a max cushion shoe, although it leans a little bit more on the firm, stable side than the Mag Max or the Glycerin Max does. I'm not saying it's not a very soft shoe. It's actually what I really wish the Nimbus 26 would have been. If it weren't for the Mag Max and the Glycerin Max, the Glideride Max would have been probably my choice for a Max cushion shoe of the year. So it's certainly a year of Max. So if you're a big fan of the Max cushion genre, 2024 is definitely your year. There is a bumper crop of fantastic options. If you have any questions about the Mag Max or any of the shoes that I talked about today, feel free to put them in the comments down below, or better yet, stop by the live stream that I do Mondays and Thursdays over on the Kofuzi Run Club channel. I'd love to talk to you guys over there in the chat. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?